All right, we're live. It's Monday night. That means only one thing. It's time for your favorite podcast, Top Corner Talk, right here with Jeremy Clements and Oscar Rojas. No Charlie Billieu tonight, and Musa Moseka, he's on vacation, so he is also out. So it's just us two tonight here to run down all of the things that we can after a win, a home win, a surprising win. Dare I call it an upset, Oscar, beating Nashville SC 3-1 Saturday night. Oscar, first thoughts. We'll dive into the lineup in that here in a minute, but how are you doing on this Victory Monday, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. This was fun. This weekend was fun. Um, a lot of good things happened on that game. So, in overall, like the game itself, the players, even like the pregame show with our new member PD, and the even like going back to the tailgates with supporters. I mean, it was a really good day. I mean, it was a little hot at the beginning, but I mean, you just power through at the end of it, and it what obviously made it better when we we get that performance from the team. Like it's just something that we were missing for a while. I think if you ask me, that's probably the best performance the entire year.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think that's arguable at this point. The probably the most complete performance we've been hearing for weeks. David Critchley, the interim manager, talk about wanting a complete game, talking about how City can put together periods in a game, a whole half of a game. This Oscar probably was the most complete performance. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we still obviously there's little things to work. Um, but it was solid. I mean, we were on the front foot most of the time. Obviously, it's normal when a team is losing, they get a reaction and they try to get back in the game. So like second half was obviously something that it would you can see happening, but at the same time, like we didn't give up that much. I mean, we gave up a goal in a PK, so and it was a retake PK, so just like it was like second, third chance. So no, I think it was a good performance overall. I think the only thing is in my end, and we'll discuss it more in deep. It's just like the drop of level and the substitution still
Mhm.
visible, and just have to find a way to manage those because that's what it hurts. That's when the teams attack you, and if you're not, if your level is not staying high, then that's when you give up the points and give up the goals. So, and you're muted, Jeremy. I think I can't hear you.
This am I on?
Not
Yes, no,
now
maybe
you're
so.
out. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
you're good.
Love technical difficulties on a Monday. You know, it is what it is, man. Anyway, thank you for the heads up. So no, a lot of fun on Monday getting to see PD or Saturday getting to see PD before the game. Neat for the fans. Even cooler, Roman Berkey walking out with PD during the walkouts. That was neat. But let's jump back to the beginning of the game. Let's just real quickly run through the XI because I do think there were some interesting decisions that ended up paying off in the end. And here was the starting lineup uh, at the weekend, starting from the back, working to the front. No surprise, Roman Berkey in goal, our captain. From left to right on your defensive line, it was Devin Padelford, rather. Timo Baumgartel, man, I can't pronounce names tonight. Falu Fall making his debut in the MLS. And one of the surprises, Hazael Orozco, out on the right back position, a double pivot of Edu Leuven and Alfredo Morales. Then out on the left, for the first time in a while, Marcel Hartl, Tomas Ostrak in the middle, Sang Bin Jung on the right, and then, of course, Zhao Klaus leading the attack for the boys in red. Oscar, what jumped out at you when we talk about the starting lineup that we saw on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned already like surprising Orozco on the right. Hasil obviously is showing that he can play in any position in the back line. He's doing it great. I mean, performing defensive wise and offensive wise. So he that was something noticeable, but at the same time, good. Good to know that they can rotate those positions. We knew Fallow was gonna play. We were not sure how long he was gonna play, but I mean, we knew he was gonna start. And then the other one, I would say Morales having the starting again. Um, Surprised to see him because we haven't heard anything from him. Like if he was fully fit, like he's been struggling with injuries and all that stuff. So it was good seeing him. You know, I like him. I like him as a player. I like him as a six. I think that's 1 6 that we have, and he's solid six. He doesn't get crazy going up. He's very um prolific on what he does, and he's just like he stays committed to his position. So I like
Mhm.
that. And I think like that gave opportunity to Ostrak to move up. That I was obviously a surprise to be up there in and Hartel to be on the left. So it gave more options to that offense, and I think it worked out well.
Yeah, I'm with you. Shocked might be a bit of an extreme reaction, but I was surprised to see Morales there. I thought we would see that double pivot like seen in weeks past with Leuven and Ostrak, and then Hartle back in the middle, and probably like a Pompeu to start out on the left. But I think this was a design and intentional move by Critchley and his leadership team and the coaching staff to neutralize the middle of the field. That's how Nashville seems to really wanted to build to get the ball to Surridge and Mukhtar. They're two leading goal scorers who between them have like 29 goals, and it worked. They really didn't do anything, especially in that first half. And Dan Guevara, reading my mind, the question I was going to pose to you, Oscar, Tomas Totland. It's now been several weeks. I believe he has made a sub appearance, but he is yet to start now in the last 2 or 3 games for City. Do we think it's simply him just falling out of favor? Has Orozco won the job? Are we reading too much into it?
I mean, it's hard to figure out what's happening there, but he, I mean, he has histories of hamstring issues, I believe, and he was coming back from an injury. He was kind of like getting back until the
Mm-hmm.
point we got Orozco and we got Paddleford. So I think at this point, if he's still kind of like having those minor uh, pains or minor strains for hamstrings, I think like
Mm-hmm.
they're just trying to like not force it at this point. There's no need to have him out and maybe like force an injury when you have two healthy players, two healthy right back and left back that they can cover that. So I wouldn't read too much into the heat type scenario. I mean they haven't said that he's hurt or anything. Like he's practicing. He's not out of um, the lineups for injury
Mm-hmm.
reports or anything like that. So I think it's more of selection and maybe like just being careful with his status.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I would read a lot more into it if he wasn't on the bench because there were some guys that we've seen get notable minutes for City that were not on the bench at all. Among those were Jaden Reed and Jean De Silva didn't make the bench either, just to name a couple. Also, I think a favorite of the show, Josh Yarrow, missed out again.
Hmm.
So, 3 regulars. Yarrow, who was for the longest time one of the minutes leaders for City this season, misses out again. So I think we're starting to see some depth chart decisions. And for me, it's more of this. If we didn't think Silva, I guess his time in St. Louis probably is going to come to an end. Is there any way back for him, do you think, at this point?
Um, I will give it time. I mean, he's not. We always. It's not a bad player. He's just an overall player that he will perform when he needs to. If the needing of is to provide depth on your roster. But if you're gonna demand to be a first team player, starter, a wall per se, like a defensive wall per se, it's
Hmm.
not gonna happen. So you can count on him as a different strategy when you need to relieve some pressure out of your center backs. And now obviously we added follow full, and then the hats off to him because he had an amazing game. Like he was
Hmm.
definitely a chopper and destroyer of the plane for Nashville. So it's gonna be tough for him to find a spot, and clearly he's not finding it. Not even on the bench. Like
Hmm.
Hubert is, I guess he's winning the polls in that way. Not that he's getting minutes either, because we haven't seen Hubert in a while as well.
Hmm.
And then the other one is JGR that is it took he seemed like more confident in that role of a center back than the center mid. So that's another one that is gaining a little bit more minutes. Even I haven't seen him perform great to say, yeah, he should be my go to for a center back relief,
Hmm.
but there's options. So I think Jaro now is in the back of the line.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll get into maybe what one of those options isn't anymore because we haven't had a show since Joachim Nielsen was bought out, so we can always talk about that later. So there could be another move to come. We'll see, but I think JGR is probably second or third, fourth choice. He's a rotation guy. He's not going to be a starter at this point. I think Falou Fall has made himself a starter, and Aaron Ed pointing out since Petey's been on the pitch, both City 2, and the Cardinals have not yet lost the game. So, hey, he's the City good luck charm beyond
There you
the
go.
pitch, I suppose, right? We'll see how long that lasts, but
Hey, I
especially
mean,
for the Cardinals.
we were a little upset that he didn't come and beat the war drum. I don't know what happened there with Petey. He,
Looks like the chat's pretty made their minds up that Silva's probably gone. Guevara brings up a good point there. Again, his salary is high for a replacement level. But the one thing I will say to kind of, and I know we need to get back into the game, not to get distracted on the Silva conversation though, is you want to have quality depth, right? Like that's a big problem this team has had, especially with the injury crises in the last 2 seasons. So sometimes maybe you can weigh the pros and cons of investing in a guy that can come in on the bench, off of the bench, and be a difference maker, or even be a rotation player. If someone's out of form or hurt. So maybe there's a role or a place for him, but I just don't know where it is just yet.
yeah, I don't think it fits on the team anymore. I think there his signing was a panic signing of
Mm-hmm.
like a last minute press the button. If not, we don't sign anything because
Mm-hmm.
everybody was asking for a player in the winter. So
Yep.
and then we realized that he's not. I don't know if it's fitness or he's just not quality because every
Yeah.
time he has been in, it's not performing. So
Yep.
I and if you think the ones that made it the bench, if a player that is earning that much money, that he was brought with experience and saying that he's going to provide a lot of help for the team, and you have Betcher, Celio, and Joyner going ahead of you, you're doing something wrong or you don't have the quality.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Chris Gebhardt brings up a great point as well. He did miss that flight. Was earlier in the year. I that always slips my mind. Shortly after, I think it was after his first game with the club, he missed that flight back from New York, missed training, and that's really kind of been what sealed his fate. That was the last time we saw meaningful minutes. I mean, of all of the players, even on an expanded roster for Villa, he didn't even make that roster either. So yeah, we may see the end of Silva. One other big noteworthy thing before we get into the game, because I do want to eventually get into that conversation, because that was fun and it'll be fun to talk about. It was another call up for Mackay Joyner. So Mackay came up, made his last appearance for City on a short-term call-up, as he did come in as a substitute in the game in the second half, which we'll talk about him a little bit later on. That's the other piece of the kind of pregame roster conversation that I think you can have, because you called up Joyner instead of rostering Silva, or you could throw out any of the other guys that didn't make the squad either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I don't have much to say on that. Like, yes, you made the decision to call up a CH player instead of bringing your one that you're paying a lot of money. So.
Yep. So then let's just, jump right into the game. And Oscar, it really didn't take long for City to get going. Within the first minute, they had a shot towards goal as Alfredo Morales played a ball into Sang Bin Jong, who headed it into the path of João Klaus, and he slotted it wide. So they were on the front foot, as you said, early and often. They looked really good in the first few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the energy that they brought in. It seems like it between the team and the stands, like they were connected. Like the stands were rocking.
Yeah.
At the beginning they were rocking, even with the heat and everything, and it helped out obviously that they came in hard, providing shots, providing efforts, getting things going. So definitely that was a very good start of the game. Um, and there were I don't know about the XGs. I don't look at those and anything like that, but I think the opportunities that we were having, they were a little more dangerous than we normally do. Like
Yeah.
that cloud shot, for example, that was a good shot. Like it was a close shot. I don't know if he had a lot of chance to score, but at the same time, it was near the post. It was good for that chance, and it didn't take long to go 23 minutes in, and we get that corner rebuild after the rebound, and Otto scoring an amazing shot.
Yeah, and we'll get into the XGs in just a bit, but I'm with you. I'm glad you mentioned the energy, because I felt that too. I can't really explain the reason why. I don't know if it was because we had a bit of a break and we were all just ready for soccer and we were dying to see our club again. But yeah, I agree. There was a lot of energy in the stands. That place, it almost felt like the energy of like a season opener. It just felt different, and in the best way. It was great. And I mean, on the broadcast, that because I've completed a rewatch again, that they kept mentioning, this is what Energizer Park is supposed to sound like. It's the loudest it might have been all season, and they said that even before the Berkey save.
Yeah, I mean, it felt really good at the beginning, and I would say maybe like 10, 15 minutes in, it's kind of like start going to that pace of like, oh, we're not scoring, then, or we're not getting more chances, like clear chances, because we obviously after the 10 minutes they kind of like regulate, and
Yeah.
Nashville set up a little bit better. We're
Mm-hmm.
not giving that much in the back. So if you start feeling the defense a little bit lower on the energy, and I would say so. My section where I was on the cage, I was trying my best and like to like getting pumped, and you could see some people that were getting connected and some people were like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like whatever. But it was a little better, and we had I think a better attendance to this
Mm-hmm.
game than we have had the past 2-3 games. Because I mean, we have had empty seats and empty roads here and there. I think this one was a little more full.
Yeah. And you mentioned the first 10 minutes, and as it relates to Falou Fall, his debut, I could not believe, as I rewatched it, I knew he had that touch in the second minute where he cleared or made a defensive stop. I did not realize, with my view from the north end, that it was a back-heeled pass to Padelford. It was ballsy, and it was just I don't even know how to describe it, man. The guy has confidence, and he just oozes it, and he has enough quality to pull that off. I mean, I don't want him doing it every week, but that's a fine way to say, how do you do to energize your park?
So you can tell like he is talented, he's
Hmm.
passionate, and he's resourceful. Like he's smart. He did that play without risking, but he knew it was a resource that he needed to do, and it was the best way to get out of that jam or that play.
Yep.
It's not the decision making was not, oh, I'm just gonna do a fancy thing. It was not, look, I need to do this to get out of this.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and as you said, he's courageous too, because he didn't. There's a lot of players that are young that if they're stepping right into the starting lineup, regardless of transfer fees or if you're coming from the academy or how your path to get there is completed, when you're stepping into that lineup, especially against you're facing the third best team in the supporter shield at the time. You have an attack of Sam Surridge and Hani Mukhtar. You can be timid in that moment. You might choose to play just a simple safe back pass. He didn't choose that, and then later, just minutes later, he steps in. There's a ball played into the box towards Hani Mukhtar, and who just doesn't even think about it. Just looks natural. He steps in and heads it out just without even thinking, which is what I want to see from the young guy. But sometimes, though you see that timidness, and he did not display being timid at all. I thought he had a fantastic first game for the club.
Yeah, I think there's another play. I did not see it, but I was told that he was kind of like challenge play. He fell on the ground. He kept hassling on the ground, and then he ended up like stepping up, covering the ball, and then getting out of that pressure with the ball. And someone was describing like he seemed like he was like breakdancing with the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah. So there were definitely there were that was in the what was like 18th minute, I think, something like that. Well, even before that, I was looking to see. I had a clip of Hani in the 15th minute. He stood up Hani Mukhtar on the edge of the box as he was playing down the right side, or it might have been, yeah. His Hani's right, our left, defensively. I don't seem to think I have it on my laptop, so I can't display it. But yeah, it was a challenge that it's been all over social media, where he just stood him up on the edge of the box, and it was great to see. It's just how strong he was in that challenge, and how smart he was to not just lunge in. It wasn't reckless. He was smart about the way he approached that challenge. And then you talked about at the 18th minute, it was a triple, like I'm calling it a triple slide tackle, because he slid, stopped Mukhtar, slid again to take it away from Mukhtar, or at least keep possession. And then finally, Andy Nahar, the all-star right back from Nashville, slid again or rotated around again and took it away from him, and then was able to get the ball out. So yeah, fantastic there. And then we just poured it on as we got into the sequence you mentioned earlier, where basically in the 22nd minute, Joe Willis is forced into a double save in a move where Ostrak and Hartle get shots off on him. The sequence also included a clear off of the line by a Nashville defender that led to the corner that ultimately led to the goal from Hazi.
Yeah. I think up to that point, like there was no chances from any of their sides until that one, and it seemed
Mm-hmm.
like the control of the ball was all in the middle for City. Nashville was not taking control of the ball, and they finally found two gaps where took those shots, create those shots.
Mm-hmm.
They pursued the rebounds. They were forcing, and I mean Willis had those two saves. I think they were very good. Um,
Yeah.
we were all in the edge of our seat. And then obviously the corner comes in, good corner. It wasn't that bad corner. It was a good corner, aggressive. They get a good, decent clear, but then I mean Orozco makes a lot out of nothing, really. He gets a
Yeah.
really nice first touch. Second touch is better because he just takes away the defender, leaves him behind him, and just take a shot. It just
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know how
and
to describe that because he's just like you have no angle, and he just like I'm gonna take a shot, and
yeah.
Willis
Well, and
wasn't expecting it.
no, yeah, well, especially not at the near post either. Like that's the thing. They interestingly enough did give Devin Padelford the assist because it looks like he actually might have won that header and directed it back into Orozco. But yeah, that shot you talked about, you said earlier you don't know the XGs just because I have it pulled up. 0.04 expected goals on that shot. The post shot expected goal, which is a calculation of it based on where it is placed in the net, where the defenders are, and all that sciencey stuff that I don't know anything about, was 0.20. So according to like metrics and analysts, it's a poor scoring opportunity, but City converted it.
Hmm.
And I mean, he even said post game he's never he doesn't shoot with his left foot. Maybe he should more often.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was gonna send it back. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
like with that angle, I was following it through, and it was like, oh, he's gonna try to send it back, and just when he took that shot back in the net, and I was like, really? Okay, we going?
Yeah, yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go.
I mean, but that lit a spark because we were fired up. The crowd went crazy. This was actually, though, it led Oscar to what I felt like was one of the low points of the first half because how we've heard Critchley talk about a lot in recent weeks the mentality of we score a goal and then we switch off, right? We don't go forward. We just switch off and allow somebody to come right back into it. And just minutes later, Hani Mukhtar gets a really dangerous opportunity. It was deflected over by, I think it was Orozco who made the block in the box, but it's not the response you don't want to see your team at home after going up a goal just within 2 or 3 minutes, letting up a dangerous opportunity from one of the top scorers in the league. Um, just to me, it felt like a bad response. Maybe I'm being overly
No,
critical, but
no, no.
um,
I was gonna answer you. I was
oh,
muted for a second,
sorry.
but um, I was like, I'm talking. No, I'm muted. Um, no, this those are the little things that the team still need to work on. Like it is a solid performance, yes, but at the same time, we always score, and it always seems like we just relax and let the other team
Mm-hmm.
come in instead of like pounding more. Like use your momentum and go and run them over. Because
Yeah.
yeah, we just let them give silly chances, and I mean, yes, we have a good goalkeeper. We getting better on our solid defense with the new members and new players and stuff. But if you're gonna give the two most dangerous players or two of the more dangerous players in the league options,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna pay for it. Luckily, we didn't, but um, and that lapse of game it didn't last too long. Um, obviously, thankfully, there was I believe everything started with it was just like a counter attack where
Mm-hmm.
Lewin got the ball and Klaus gets a really good run behind his back and perfect perfect pass from Lewin to not overhit it, not getting it wide or anything. And I mean, Klaus' shot is also not easy. Like that was not a very nice angle to score a goal, and he put it
Mm-hmm.
back in the net. So
Yeah, I mean, it's another Oscar. We were talking about
another
XGs. Let's
XG.
go there again. We're going right there. 0.11 XG. That is a, I think it's classified as an average chance, and it's in the back of the net. And the fun thing about that is watching the replay. It was also near post, and it also hit the near post, just like Orozco's did. So we were touching the woodwork in the right ways, and it was friendly to us at least in the first half. So that was good to see. From there, the first half was kind of uneventful. From there, Sang Ben had a chance in the 41st minute that went wide. And then there was one other low point towards at the very end of stoppage time where Nashville almost pulled one back as Ostrak was caught dribbling out from the back. So at the first half, though, I mean, outside of that, City was really compact. They were controlling the game. They were limiting Nashville to really nothing in their attack. I was really impressed with the City defense.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the end of the half and you have a 51% of possession against
Mm-hmm.
Nashville, the third best in the East, that they play aggressive, they attack, they try to control the game. So I mean that's a solid half, and if we're gonna extend a little bit, 7 shots total against 6
Mm-hmm.
shots on target. There were 5 from City, none from Nashville. If you're not allowing one shot on goal in the half with the two most injured players that we mentioned, then you're doing something good.
Oh no, yeah, without a doubt. And again, you're listening to Top Corner Talk with Jeremy and Oscar tonight. Mo is on vacation, and Charlie had other obligations, so it's just us two recapping what was a fun 3-1 win over Nashville SD. We've talked through the first half. Just going to fire through the second half a little bit, Oscar. City comes out in what we would find out post game from David Critchley in a little bit of a different shape, and we'll get to the reason why on that in a little bit. Sang Bin with a couple of chances. One chance in the 48th minute that he puts a pass in towards Klaus, but it was just too much. And then in the 54th minute, the reason I want to bring this one up, we didn't score in the 53rd minute, but there was a play between Leuven, Hartl, and Ostrak, where they took the ball from one end of the pitch to the other, just interplaying between each other. And it ends up creating a really dangerous moment, a cross that gets through the box, doesn't amount to anything, but it's all due to something we've harped on for weeks: off ball movement. They are able to get those passing lanes because they're moving off of the ball.
I mean, we mentioned the energy was better, so like
Mm-hmm.
they were connected a little bit better, and I don't know if it's part of what I've been saying. If you put Hartel free on the left, you're giving him more chances to get options, you know,
Yep.
and Lewin is more free because Morales is behind him, or a real 6 is behind him. Ostrak was playing higher, so we know Ostrak can create more mobility. And then also, obvious Sam Bing, we have seen in the past 2 games that he can definitely open up the field and get big and deep runs.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he is at least through 2 games, or 2 league games, showing his quality. Chat's on fire tonight. We are terrified, Oscar. I'll say that much.
I know they're riding too fast. I cannot even keep track of
Oh, it's great.
what they're
And so
saying.
thank you
It's
all for
awesome.
listening. Make sure like, comment, subscribe, share all those good things as we hope to grow the show, bring more folks like you into the chat to make the conversation that much more fun, that much better. Fast forwarding now to the 65th minute, that's where we see that next goal come in, City's third. And it all starts with a high press that forces a back play to Joe Willis, who clears it to the midfield, but it doesn't get past Hazi Orozco. He is there, heads it forward. Leuven, essentially with a one-touch kind of loop pass to Betcher, gets a shot off, doesn't get in, doesn't get saved, gets to the rebound, and then it's like I don't know if it was, I'm assuming it was a shot, but it ended up turning into a cross that glances off of Sang Bin's head and into the goal for his first in City Red. Another quick hit, dynamic play from this attack.
Yeah. And one of the good things there is that involves one new player that gets a goal in and gets his
Yep.
count started. And second, even though it wasn't the best move, finish, cross, Simon Betcher did something very ugly, turn into an assist because
Yeah.
he literally whiffed the first one, then somehow like got into the rebound, and that's how he ended getting into the assist. So he, we know he works hard. We know he doesn't give up a ball, and that was that. Like he gets rewarded with an assist because he put the
Mhm.
effort and didn't give up on the ball. So
No, 100%. And the thing that I like about Simon Betcher, I know he gets a lot of flack because he hasn't finished. And I'm not saying that that's not deserved, but I feel like he is a guy who gets into those, in a hockey we say the dirty areas, right? He puts himself in those spots that are dangerous. He just doesn't finish them, but because he's in those dangerous areas, he's able to help create chances, and in this case City goes up 3-0 because of his effort. um from there is the that so that was Betcher came in, by the way, in place of Klaus, who left in the 62nd minute. They had stopped the game for a head injury. It was never disclosed post game, I don't believe. If there was any concern about a head injury, it might have just been a fresh leg situation, but that's how Betcher got into the game, for those who weren't there or watching. Um,
I mean,
Nahar
I
gets
question
a
it.
no,
When I
right.
saw when I saw Klaus going out again, I was like, why always Klaus? Why always
Hmm.
Klaus the first sub? Or why always Klaus against Betcher? Like, but I
Yeah,
mean, it turned out to be something good in the moment.
yeah.
But
No, I'm with you because that's the same. That was the same thought I had. I'm like, why is Klaus out? Like, what's going on? Because, I mean, sadly, like, I guess real quick, I want to show a graphic. Speaking of Klaus, just for a second, because I, if Klaus hadn't gotten that goal, he was kind of invisible in that game. Oscar, I'm going to pull up a graphic if it'll pull up here. Oh, that's a Roscoe. My apologies, wrong player. Um, I pulled a bunch of files from a site that I had found,
yeah,
from one of our analytics guys, or an analytics guy, I should say. Where is he? I think he's right here. So this is Zhao Klaus's performance, visually. You can see on the left his passing met. He didn't really have a lot of offensive actions, based on his passing. He only really had. You could see the where he scored the goal. He had one other shot, that was off target. That was the very first shot he took right to start the match. Other than that, he didn't have any other successful touches in the box. Wasn't impactful around the box or in the final third, really. Just a couple of really good defensive actions, that were in the offensive half. And then you can kind of see on the right where his touches and his pass reception points were. And again, it was sort of, and I hate to say it's an anonymous performance for a guy who got a goal, but yeah, it was a performance that without the goal, I think a lot of people wonder if, was this a bad game from Klaus without the goal?
I would say, are you saying this with combining what you saw
Hmm.
or just the stats? Because
Uh, yeah, point both out to me.
because yes, these stats don't look right, right? There's no much action. There's nothing. But he, with all these stats, he managed to get a goal. One, two. I would like to see how much he ran in the game and what was his heat map on the
Mm,
game. That will change a little bit of the perspective of this because
okay.
even I think, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna defend him, because I'm not gonna. I do not know. I did not watch the game the way that everybody did. Like I was with my back against the field. Like
Yeah,
so, I tried to watch as much as I can, and I looked at the screens and all that, but I don't really get to appreciate it as much. And today I didn't have the time to rewatch it. So,
that's
um,
okay.
but my question would be that like, what's the heat map? Like, did he because he may be moving a lot and creating spaces for others, even though you don't get the pass, and
True.
that's just the dirty work and people don't see it. You don't see it on the numbers. But at the end of the day, if you're creating those options or those spaces for Sambin to get behind it, for um, Hartel to get in the other side, or Strike to combine, then you're doing a lot without the ball. It
Hmm.
doesn't mean you're not performing. You might be doing what you're supposed to do, you keep busy the two center backs. That's your job. Then he accomplished it.
No, and I think you're right on. Like again, it's that off ball work that a lot of folks don't talk about because I think you could say something similar about the next guy, Marcel Hartle. Didn't have an assist, didn't have I don't believe and I know he didn't score a goal. He was a little bit more involved, but again, looks like just a couple of touches in the box. Might not have been as involved in all of the scoring moves according to the visual stats here, but I don't think Marcel had a bad game. He was involved. He helped link up play. He helped move the ball down the pitch. He cleared space. He made dangerous runs. What thoughts do you have on Cello's performance?
I think he was playing freely and creating options that nothing overwhelming, nothing amazing coming from him. Obviously, we would like to have more,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but overall, like he just did a decent game. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you
Nothing to
look at the
complain about.
qualifications, Klaus obviously for the goal he gets a 7-8 according to FOTMOB, and then Hartel gets a 6-9. It's just not too far away from each other. Just like one score goal. What did it?
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. So jumping back into the game, we'll pick it up at the 70th minute where we start to talk about what you mentioned earlier, Oscar, the subs. The first two, or the second, I guess it's the second and third. Celio Pompeu comes on to replace Sang Bin, and then we see Makai Joyner. This is where Joyner gets his last appearance as a first team call up as he replaces Tomasz Ostrak. And then from there, first of all, what do you think of those subs?
Uh, Let me go back. 'Cause I was looking at trying to find the heat map, but there's nowhere to
Oh,
find it.
for which player?
No, Mickey Jr. and Thomas Ostrak, Silly and Samin.
Yeah,
Um, I think they were done because we were 3-0 up. Um, Mickey Joyner, I mean, good to give him minutes, especially because you got the call up, so it was smart to use him.
hmm
I still want to see if Sambin can go 90,
yeah,
and I think he scored a goal. I would have rewarded me playing the full 90. Like
yeah,
you already scored a goal. You had a goal for us, whatever it was, even if it was just a top end. But he put the effort to be there. I don't know. I would have liked to see him in the full 90. Obviously, we all want to see Celia play, and we all know that Hartel is not the first option to get out. So it's
yeah. No,
basically
I'm
that.
with you.
So
No, I'm with you. So real quick, and I apologize. I don't know which players you were looking for, but I will pull up. If I can get it to pull. Here we go. So here are hopefully it's displaying for us the heat maps, Oscar, for Hartle, Sangbin, and Klaus. Are these the players you were hoping to see?
yeah, I wanted to see what really Klaus did, what Hartel did, because like I said, I wasn't too aware of their movement.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know what to say on those. I guess Joao was very spread out, most in the middle. Um, the only thing that he would tell me is that he was fighting the balls right in the middle of the field where you're trying to release pressure and he's the outlet. So
Yep.
that would be like a thing for me to say, okay, he was doing that work. I don't know if you can point it out, but that really yellow in the middle of the circle, and then the one up high a little bit. Um, no, I'll go to Klaus.
Oh, to Klaus.
Yeah, so like that middle one, and then like the one to the left a little bit. It will be basically he's fighting all those long balls or those 50-50 balls or the release pressure balls. So that would be the only thing I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other than that, he clearly goes everywhere because we know
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't give up a ball. He goes and defend when he needs to.
Yep.
So That would
Yeah,
be that, and then Hartel, you can see he's spread out for all over the field. So it was
yeah.
just like creating options, creating outlets, or just creating space behind him, making the
And
other players move.
yeah, no, and I really liked how dynamic those two were, the Hartle and Sung Bin, just flipping sides and kind of rotating as they could. And I really thought Sung Bin was extremely effective as he was inverting and stepping inside. He had a couple of really good shot opportunities. You could see at least one of the spots on his seat map right here that kind of reflects just how often he might have been coming inside and likely, either being around the same spots or maybe Klaus rotating out wide. So I don't have a problem with it looking this way in terms of spreading out where your threats are, because you would hope that you have other players filling in the gaps, as well as, kind of like looking at where Klaus's gap here is, kind of on that left space here, half channel. Maybe that's where you see again Sang Bin steps in, maybe a little bit more from Hartle. So to me, it means that we're probably dynamic and dangerous in the attack. And as Chris Gebhardt points out, maybe it's a good thing we're less reliant on those two guys. So, but going back to the subs, I do want to make sure that we get a chance to hit on what you were talking about in the intro. So, what thoughts do you have overall on the subs? We can walk through the rest of the game. We'll talk about the penalty, but just overall on the subs, Oscar, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I didn't like. I'm not a big fan of Simon Betcher. I've said it before. Like, I mean, he performs overall okay. He hustles, but his quality is not really, doesn't bring the team up in a level. And when
Yeah,
you make a sub for those situations, you want his energy and his level to increase the team and not lower it. And normally we get score on when Simon Betcher comes in. It's not because of him, but it could be something related with him. Um, so, for example, Chris was saying like we want to see something without Hartel and Klaus, and like see if the better depth with um, Betcher will work. We have seen that it doesn't. Like we don't have that extra player that is gonna keep them occupied um, in the front end. So that one I disagree with the substitution, but I guess you were saying that Klaus maybe had a hit or something that he was forced to get out.
that's what the Apple TV broadcast. That's like I said, I didn't hear anything post game from any of the sources. I don't know that Critchley was asked about it, but I do think that and we'll find out more tomorrow. There's training tomorrow, so I'm sure there will be a post training media scrum as always. Maybe we'll find out more at that point. Uh, but I think for me the only I guess I'm of two minds on the joiner sub. I knew when we started taking our sixes out, we start to see there's a gap that's going to happen. Especially if you're taking out Ostrak, you're taking out Hartle. Ostrak, by the way, I think we skimmed over. He had a really good game in terms of progressive movement, carrying the ball, passing the ball. Ostrak in the middle worked. I want to make sure to mention that. Um,
Hmm.
but when we took him out, we have Hartle coming out later. But you're starting to see Morales. Well, and no, Morales didn't come out; he gave up the penalty. But you're changing those middle of the pitch guys that had been so effective. Um, it creates issues, and I'm not blaming Joyner for it because I don't think Joyner had a bad run out. I just question: is this was this the right time to give him that appearance? Right, like do you want him to come in a 3-0 game where there's no pressure and he can just go out and run? Or is that better for his development? Or do you want him to go out and chase a game where we're trying to get a goal? Like where do you land on that question?
I think it was a good moment to give him minutes. Your three goals, um, winning by 3 goals, and there's no much happening on the game. Let's say like City was controlling most of it. Joyner is a good counter-attack player because he's fast, he's agile. So I think that the sub itself is not bad. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if maybe the guy coming out was
Yeah.
because Ostrak was given the balance and keeping the ball and being that attacking mid that we all request.
Yeah.
And Hartel wasn't having an amazing game either. So why don't you just switch the same piece on the left, just get one man out, one man in on the same position, and not having to get Joyner in, Ostrak out, and then move Hartel to a new position and then Joyner to a new position. Because that's two that they're doing a different role now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it does.
and I think like we always do that. Like we're making subs and we make everybody move around in three different positions where you're disconnecting the work that you're built the entire game. Like if you were solid the
Mm-hmm.
entire game, why you start moving the shape of your team? You shouldn't be moving that much. Just release pieces if they're tired, but put them on the same spot.
Yeah, and I did just want to show graphically Ostrak. You could see he was really all over that middle percent of the pitch. Like that was such a massive benefit to the club because we had an outlet to progress that wasn't playing directly to Klaus. And we've been dying for that all season, right? And we thought with Edu coming back we'd get it. With Hartle we might have it, but I think Ostrak really provided that on Saturday night. So I wanted to just take a second to talk about him. I know we need to get back to the subs and the other things, especially the penalty. But Oscar, I wanted to take just a second to mention Ostrak's
No,
performance.
I think it did good. It doesn't have a good rating on like an amazing rating on football, but I think he
Yeah.
was being that solid player that giving release of the pressure, building some offensive plays. I look here, it says accurate passes 28 out of 29. So he missed one pass in the entire game. So I
Yeah.
think that
No.
I think that deserves more than a 6.6 that they gave him on the
100%. Because how many times were we talking earlier in the year about easy turnovers, right? You win the ball and you
yeah.
give it right back. So I mean, it worked. And the thing was too, if you go back when Hack took over, right after we brought Marcel in, he was playing on the left. He was very effective out there, and I know it's because he was probably drifting. But is that like? And again, I'm guilty of being the guy that wants to be wants to see Hartle in the middle. Like I've been dying for that. I wanted it. I got it. I finally saw it. Maybe that's not where he's most effective on this team.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
just uh I think like his midfield with he does both well, like being the balance and being the creative one. But I think like his creative one, he gets a little bit more of that um like make it fluid, like make the game
Mm-hmm.
fluid. Where when he's in the defensive side, he has to limit himself more and he has to stop more and be the guy that is the balance and let Lewin be the creative one. So I think when both of those are creating, they're great. And I mean, we obviously have seen that without Eddie Lewin, our team doesn't have any clue of how to create offensive plays. But with those together and not limiting Ostrak in the defensive side, I think it's what it created that offensive possession, keeping the ball up, and at the end of the day, keeping the possession of the entire game.
Oh no, I agree, and I thought it was a telling quote. You mentioned Edu Leuven just for a real quick sake of conversation. I do want to. I believe this his. I apologize. The preview on my. Yep, here's Edu. So this is Edu. Look at where he is his distribution is one thing, right? Especially when it's starting in those deep lying areas. But I am just blown away. If you look at the piece on the right, his touches and pass reception points, and just the areas that he's covering, just that is it is it just adds so much stability to this squad. So I think Edu is absolutely a guy that as and I have a quote from Lutz that I'll put on the screen as well. He essentially refers to Edu, and I agree, as the difference maker for this team. What are your thoughts on Edu?
I mean, this team's success depends on Lewin. It is what it's just simple as that. Without him, there's no solid offensive plays. There's not creative. There's nothing that we can work on, and that's good that we have him. But we also know how bad it is if we don't have it. So if we think on the future, we do need to work on something that um, will replace Lewin, or not even just
Mhm.
replace, but help with when we don't have Lewin.
Yeah, and I just threw up the quote from Edu's or from Lutz, sporting director Lutz Pfannenstiel, his weekly appearance on Sports on a Sunday on KMOX, saying, "quote With Edu on the field, we're a different team because his vision and his way of controlling the field gives us a lot of mileage and a lot of class, and it's just great to have him on the field again and again. I think everybody in St. Louis feels that way, but just a credit to Edu. So." Oscar, before I jump to the final parts of the game, we get into the penalty conversation. Any other thoughts on subs or any of the other players that I haven't kind of highlighted yet?
I mean, the last two subs, I think they were just defensive subs trying
Yeah,
to
Watts
kill the
Watts for
game.
Hartle. Yeah, Watts for Hartle, JGR for Morales, and that was after the penalty, directly
Yeah.
after the PK.
Um, I'm not sure if for that perspective, I'm not sure if we're too slow on making those.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna
well,
say
and that
something bad about those subs, like I don't think there's
yeah
something bad about it. Um, it's the process of the game. I think like Morales would have not have been sub out if he doesn't commit the PK. But I think
yeah
as a being the infractor, then they got punished with like, okay, we sub you out. Just to like kind of say like, oh, were you retired? Maybe that's why you made the mistake of the tackle. But um, I think maybe on the 80th minute would it be a little bit better if you get those two fresh legs. Forget the last 10 minutes of the game
hmm
where you know Nashville or whoever you're playing is gonna come at you if they're losing, especially 3-0. Like they're gonna try to get
yeah
something going. You want to refresh a little bit your legs. Again,
yeah
replace legs and the positions. Don't move on different positions. Don't start wiggling around every single piece of your puzzle. Just get
yeah
one men for men, and I think like he kind of did that with a kill, getting into the center mid, and
hmm
then probably added a center back taking an offensive player.
yeah.
Need to grab my charger, so I'll be
No,
right.
you're okay. Yeah, no, you're fine. Take a second. No, because I'll rant because I agree with you. I do think some of the subs could have come earlier. That all notwithstanding, I don't see a problem with it. I think the great thing that we're starting to see with a healthier roster, you can make those like for like subs. And I thought the interesting one for me, um, if you're bringing on JGR for Morales, um, Kessler is on the bench. Is this a game where you think you have to bring in Henry Kessler to see it out? We didn't. I'm okay with that. I think if it's a one goal game, you might see Kessler coming in. He did end up getting minutes for City 2 in their draw, which we'll hear more and learn more about tomorrow night on City 2 Talk. which will come your way around 7 o'clock or so right here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. More information to come. But for now, you're listening to Top Corner Talk with myself, Jeremy Clements, and my friend Oscar Rojas. Again, hey, yeah, your favorite capo, right? No, Mo is on vacation, and of course Charlie Bilyeu, our other stats analytics guy, just couldn't make it tonight. So no worries there. But we're holding it down, talking through the second half of this City 2 or City win, rather, I should say, over Nashville. Oscar, I've got too much on my mind, man.
I mean, we're not used to saying winning, so let's just do it.
We don't know how to react. So the subs, right before the subs, I think the one moment that is massive to talk about is, of course, is the penalty kick. So it's set up as Yazbek plays Mukhtar into the right side of the box around the 80th minute or so, and Alfredo Morales goes in on a challenge. You could argue it might be soft to an extent. I didn't really think. I personally wasn't a fan of the ref, but they award the penalty, and then we have drama because it's saved by Berkey. He saves the initial one. He also then pushes a second shot over, but then it's held for a VAR review, a retake, and then Mukhtar puts it away. Your thought on the penalty, the drama around it, and then the eventual PK goal from Hani Mukhtar.
Yeah, I agree. The PK was a little soft. I think it could have easily not call it. And then if they go back to VAR, they'll say like, well, there's no obvious error. They'll keep it now. So I think it was like both ways. Whatever he was calling on the field was going to stand. I think Morales gave him too much case to call it, and going down on the ground, and just by the play, that the way that it turned out to be the play, it just was, I guess, easier to call a PK than not call it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The kick. I mean, people don't like it, but it's part of the game now. It's been part of the game for many years already, and
yeah,
there used to be a little ruling here and there that if he fully stopped, it was penalized. If it's such and such, I mean, at the end of the day, they're beneficiating the kicker because that's what the rules want, and that's why the people want to have goals. So obviously, it sucks when it's against you, and when your goalkeeper hasn't saved a PK in 7 years, and he finally does it, and he gets a really good save, then obviously it was like painful and frustrating. But I mean, at the end of the day, yes, he left the line before the kick, and unfortunately he couldn't hold himself. And it's part of the ones that they're goalkeepers that they're actually PK stoppers. Even when they jump in early, they have a technique that they kick their leg out back. So when they're jumping, they have their leg back behind the line, and because it doesn't have to be touching the line, it has to be in the plane of the line. It can be in the air, but if his plane of the leg is behind the plane of the line, he's still good. But obviously, not the case for Berkey.
Yeah. So just real quick, I do have the clip. So this is the first run up by Hani Mukhtar. Let's take a look at it, folks, if it will play. Here we go. So I just don't. I'm going to play it again. I don't understand, Oscar, how right there. How is that not considered a stop? Is it because he's dragging his toe? Is it because he takes and I actually know the rule. I had a gentleman on Twitter give me some education today about it, because I think the key thing is even though if you look at that, he stops. The rule doesn't say that you can't stop. That's not in the language. It's you can't fake kick the ball. And as long as he takes another step, which you see right there's the stop, and then he steps forward and then quickly kicks it, it's a legal kick.
Yeah.
So
and
I don't know.
So he used to say that you cannot stop, and that's what I was saying. Like that restriction is not there anymore.
Yeah.
But even with that, like, he didn't fully stop. It's just like a split of a second. Then when his move make him slow down. But he's still his momentum, if it's slowly, but he's still dragging
Yeah.
forward. Um,
Yeah.
so it's just part of that. And then yes, the fake kick will be like basically if you literally go and then kick it,
Hmm.
like a
Yeah.
full motion of kicking and then kick it again.
Yep.
Um,
And the
I
other
think
thing too.
Neymar did once one like that. He
Of
stood
course
up like
Neymar
right
did.
next to the ball and he went whoop and then kick it to the other side and obviously
That of
um,
course Neymar. That doesn't surprise me. It's Neymar. No. So the interesting thing though too, people were pointing out on the replay, and I don't have a shot of it. I didn't see it, but there were a few Nashville players who were actually early in the box too. They encroached, and so there were people like, well, wait, if Berkey's off the line and they're impeding, why don't those offset? But the reality is, it's kind of like the NFL where you get an offsetting penalty and you just redo the play. So
I
either way,
believe
they're going to get
so.
a retake.
I believe so. It would because they were both infractions were happening. You just have to
Yeah.
retake it.
And
That's what I
interestingly
believe.
enough, Hani, when he took the second one, sorry to cut you off, um, he didn't do the stutter on the second PK. He just did a normal run up. So I thought that was also just a little bit interesting too. I don't know if he realized he did something or he thought he might have, or if somebody got in his ear during the VAR review. But I did think that was just a little bit interesting. And Berkey actually guessed right on that too. He just couldn't get to it.
Yeah. No, I think he just did it because he wanted to have a different technique to take the second one and not kick it the
Yeah.
same way. And they just trying to surprise Berkey as well because if you took the first one with a stutter step, then maybe you
Yeah.
have your goalie staying longer in the line, thinking that he's gonna do another stutter step, and then you just go straight and kick it. It doesn't give it enough reaction, and I think that's
Hmm.
probably what happened with Berkey. Just seeing
Yeah.
like being ready to is he gonna do the starter step, and when he take the shot, he gets right, but he didn't have enough reaction or enough power on the reaction to get hand on it. Or I think he even touched it a little bit, but it was a good
Yeah.
kick too. Um,
It was well taken.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, so from there, Oscar, we kind of start working our way into stoppage time. Nashville almost pulled another one back. I forget
So the third
who
half,
the third half. Yeah,
like
I
14
forget
extra
who the
minutes.
yeah I
Jeez.
forget who the goal scorer was, and well, okay. So hang on before I get to that drama because it benefited City. 12 minutes of stoppage time, too much. What are your? It sounds like you think it's too much.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long they took on the VAR on that one on the
Yeah.
PK, and then there was a small VAR review with the second half, the second goal from Nashville that
Hmm.
got disallowed. Um, I mean, yes, there's subs, there's everything, but it just, I mean, 12 out of the blue seem a
Yeah.
lot. I think
Yeah. Go
if you
ahead.
tell me 7 or 8, maybe I will be like, oh, okay, but just the
Yeah.
12 sounds a lot.
I was around. I figured around 9. Like that. That was where I was at because you figure like the way I was calculating it out. So you had two. Well, I guess one hydration break. So I counted that as a 3-minute break. The Klaus injury that turned into what seemed like a hydration break. So that's another 3 minutes. Let's just say 3 minutes for the VAR review. So that's how I got to 9. If you add in the other subs and delays, maybe that's why. I don't know. I agree. It was a lot, but I guess if I think through it, I can make a case for it. But no, Nashville does almost pull a goal back. Like I said, I forget who the scorer was, but it was called back because the referee ruled that Bunbury had committed a foul on Orozco. So that goal is negated, and then ultimately City does get a chance late. Simon Betcher throwing the ball forward to Mackay Joyner, but he can't really get the shot on net to really threaten in a real dangerous way. It didn't appear. And then Leuven gets a shot right at the end as well, and then right it is back to back and with a much higher xG, but both of those efforts are blocked, and then the game ends 3-1. The man of the match, Falu Fall. Your thoughts on again the overall performance? I know we've talked about it a lot already as we have crossed the hour mark, but your thoughts on Falu being the man of the match in his MLS debut?
I mean, he was very solid. I think normally they don't give. on a 3-1 game, they would not give man of the match to a defensive player, unless like he scores or things like that. So I
Hmm.
was a little surprised with being the man of the match, not because he did not perform, it's more because there was other players that influenced it more into the scoreline. He was solid. He was confident on his tackles. He was organized. He seemed like he took a little bit of the leadership on that back line. So I mean, obviously, well deserved on his performance,
Hmm.
and great that they give him. I I would have given him to Orozco because he opened the can, and being a
Hmm.
defensive player, being solid as well in the back, and contributing with a goal. I think I would have done that, and I mean, Fatma agrees with me. Um,
Hmm.
but and that's why, like for example, like his Orozco was in
Team of the
the
week or team of the
team of the
match day.
week, team of the match day, and Fallow didn't even appear. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
that that balance where you're like, okay, depending on what you're watching or what you want, it's really what you're putting in there, and obviously because you score goals, that gives you an extra plus in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little surprised I voted for Orozco because unfortunately, again, he affected the scoreline. He helped you get the result. It wasn't the game winning goal, but it was what opened the scoring and really started the momentum. Well, not really started the momentum, I should say, but really kept the momentum in City's favor and really kept them moving in a positive light to start. To continue that first half in the after the 23rd minute or so. So Orozco, just real quick, threw up his graphic. You can see how active he was on that right flank, especially in the offensive third. You can just see all of the progressive passes that he's making and just how impactful he was, which to me is especially noteworthy because he's not billed as an offensive player. You think if you see him coming in, he's viewed more as that defensive guy. That's why I thought a lot of personally, that's why I thought there was rationale for him playing over Tots because Tots is more of that attacking right back. So to me, that's where this worked for me because I would have thought, okay, you're going to primarily build on the left and throw Padelford forward, keeping Orozco back to rotate into more of a back three in coverage. And that's sort of what I thought Critchley would be a talking about post game when he said that in the second half they changed shape rather to get into that back what he called a flat five, which to me is your two CDMs, your two sixes dropping deeper and forming more of a back five with Orozco, Baumgartel, and Fall. The while Padelford pushed forward, but you could see Orozco was extremely progressive on the right.
Did it again.
Sorry, thoughts, Oscar. Before
uh,
I just keep rambling.
no, I mute myself because I'm taking some small bites of my late
Oh,
dinner. So,
you're
but
good.
no, it was yeah, definitely he was progressive. He was aggressive going forward. He was solid. When they were attacking him, he had a few blocks. You mentioned one that he did against Hani Mukhtar, and I I thought that he was gonna be obviously the man of the match, but I know City does it differently, where they whoever votes in the app and
Hmm.
such and such and such.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Um,
both deserve it, so it was fine. It
yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
Follow
Yeah.
win
A good.
with the
Yeah.
first
Great.
game, obviously too.
Yeah. Real quick. I think the play. I'm just gonna show it because I have it. Give me just a second here. The um the clip. I think that Ale is discussing or posting in our comments is right here. It is Hani Mukhtar getting leveled, getting leveled by Falu Fall. That was in the first half. In the 18th minute, he just stands him up. No foul, just goes into it tough, stands up straight, doesn't lunge in, sort of shoulder tackles him down. And I've seen comparisons to that Klaus tackle on I think it was Willie Agata from Kansas City. I don't think this will go quite that epic in city history, but yeah, quite the play there from
Yeah,
Falu.
I mean, he time like the timing of his steps, because what he's doing when he was slowing down, he was timing the steps of Mukhtar, and when he saw the opportunity to just step on the ball, like he just run him over, and it was great.
Yeah, so that was great. So with that, City obviously gets the win. 3-1 is your final. A massive 3 points in the standings gets them a little bit more breathing room from the wooden spoon, which is massive, especially considering unfortunately our buddy or my friend Edgar Zuniga from News Across the Galaxy, his team dropping points at the weekend. So we now have a 5-point gap with City sitting on 21 points and Galaxy down there with 16 points. Between us, by the way, there are a few other teams, Montreal and DC United, when it comes to the race for the wooden spoon that I think we're trying to avoid it. I know we won a trophy. Oscar, keep me honest. We don't want that to be our first trophy,
No,
right?
no, I do not want
Okay.
that. No.
Okay, good. I'm just glad we're on the same page. I had to make sure of that. So that's a quick update of where we are on the wooden spoon race. I do just Oscar. I hate to do it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I got to throw the word playoffs out there. Timo talked about it in the
But
press
we're
conference leading
11
into the
points
game.
away.
Yeah, yeah, you're right on the money. 11 points out. San Jose sitting in ninth at 32. So with 9 games to play, City would need 11 point or need to make up 11 a point. So we need some help to get there. I did the math pre-show. If we were to win out, we would end on 48 points. If City goes 8 wins, 1 draw, no losses, they're on 46. If we only lose 1 more, we end right on 45 points. And then anything less than that, we're under that kind of expected cutoff of around 45 points to make the playoffs. We would have to get roughly 2.5 points a game, and I just it's not likely, right? You don't think I'm crazy? It's not likely, even though we just won a
No,
game.
no. I mean, we had a good performance, but we also had a good performance against Portland, and then
Yep.
we had our worst performance after. Um, and we lost 2 in a row. Then if we see, I mean, Chicago is not an easy game,
Nope.
and I would say let's win all the home games. We have four home
Yep.
games, but then the away games are just gonna be the kicker.
Yep. Yeah. No, they are, and we've got.
I'm saying no, it's not gonna happen.
Yep.
Everybody keeps saying like, well, mathematically, and no,
No,
let's not get our
look.
hopes up.
So I agree, and with in terms of games left, looking at the schedule, we've got 9. So we have 2 away games. We go to Chicago and Vancouver. We come home to face Houston and Dallas. Then 2 more back-to-back away games, including a trip to Montreal and then San Jose. Then we flip. We kind of go home away home for the last 3 with LAFC coming here, a trip to Austin, and then RSL on the 18th of October. So we don't have the easiest of paths to make the playoffs if there was somehow a late run. I think the big ones, I mean, basically every team we play in the West is above us in the standings. So they're big they'd be big games. The Houston game, Dallas game, especially. But yeah, it's extremely unlikely. I think you hit the nail on the head, Oscar, when you talked about the Portland game, because that's the key. The key is now to be consistent. We can't do this and then drop off and look like we did in Dallas, and just be miserable to watch. We
Yeah.
have to keep that expectation high.
And unfortunately, we're not good away. I mean, we were not good at home either, but we're
No.
we're worst away. So it's kind of like that part of like,
Yeah.
are we really gonna take points away from Chicago, Vancouver,
Yeah.
San Jose? We might
Well,
take some from Montreal, but then Austin FC, like it just tough to
yep.
visualize. But I mean, hey, we're here to support. We're gonna support him.
Yep.
We're gonna keep cheering. We're gonna keep going. Um,
Yep.
the team is evolving. It's getting better. Is showing some signs. Let's not just throw the house out of the window and say like, oh, we're the best team already.
Yeah.
We're good. We're ready for next year. No,
Yep.
it's slowly getting and showing some
Yeah.
signs that there we can do something. with the proper things coming in, like we do still need more players. I'm just gonna keep pounding on that. Like we do need a six or an
Yep.
attacking mid, like a six or an attacking mid, more in a six than an attacking. But if you can do one or both, will be great.
So,
Especially now that we don't we have the spot from Nielsen, and
hmm
don't come and
so
tell me. And sorry, the lovers of City Two players, don't come and tell me that you're gonna bring a City Two player after you release that much salary cap.
but we want Makai Joyner.
I don't. I told
Hey,
I told you my Kai Joyner is gonna be sold soon.
whether he's sold or not, I'm 100% with you on this, Oscar. I look, I love Makai. I do think he looked pretty solid in his outing against Nashville. He didn't look bad. Created a couple chances, got into some dangerous spots. And maybe he is ready, but you're 100% on the mark. I don't want to just move some because what I presume would happen. We have to lose his homegrown status, which I guess that doesn't make a huge difference right now. But he'd
Is
probably
yeah.
he'd get a supplemental. He'd be a supplemental roster guy. We're not going to pay him. Over the threshold. I can't imagine City would. Maybe they would, but if so, we would just have to move someone up to the senior roster. And to your point, you're not buying out Nelson's $1.3 million, his TAM deal. I don't think you're doing it, like you said, to bring up a homegrown. Maybe we're wrong, but I'm 100% with you. Here, let's see what Lutz Pfannenstiel said. So what Lutz said when he was asked about it on KMOX, quote, there's still ways and mechanisms we can pull to give him minutes in the first team. Giving him that experience is important, but at the same time, we have an MLS Next Pro competition as well. Makai's really young. That's a player for the future. That's the big one. He's a player for the future. If I can read between the lines, I'm hoping that means Lutz has something up his sleeve and that we're not just bringing him up. Anyway, Lutz continued, I see him very much getting lots of minutes for next season. But with the next pro going really well, with a title to play for, I think it's very important for those young players to get next pro minutes and next pro to play in a proper competition to get that winning feeling. So that's what Lutz said when he was pressed on Sports on a Sunday on KMOX about Makai. What do you think? Are we reading between the lines appropriately here, thinking that the way Lutz is talking, maybe Makai is not the call up here?
Yeah, I don't think it will be the call. But I also question whose future,
That's fair.
because I mean they if it's enough the way that he's performing in MLNX Pro, if it's enough to sell him to a team,
Mm-hmm.
I think City will sell him
Oh, yeah.
because I think I mentioned it last week when I said, what do you prefer? Having, let's say, like you're building a highlight video. Do you prefer having a highlight video of his moments in City 2, or a highlight video on the main team just because it's the main team?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm trying to promote it, if I think as a mentality of an agent, if I'm trying to promote this player, I prefer the highlights of the City 2. 100%,
Yeah.
because he's scoring, because he's aggressive, because he's taking players on, things that don't happen on the main team. And it's not because he can't, it's more
Mm-hmm.
because it's a little bit more difficult, and at the same time his his potential is not there yet. And I don't want to dig on him. Like, I mean, he's a great player. I'll
Yep.
have nothing against him, but he had a chance to score on Saturday. It was open 1-on-1 against the goalkeeper. He decided to go wide, and he took it too wide. And you could have finished. You could have tried to take a shot on goal, and you probably would have finished the way that he has finished in City 2. But he was hesitant on that. So it's those moments where if you show on a scout a way that he finished in MLS Next Pro and the way that he did not finish on the MLS, you don't want those moments to be more, because then
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna be able to sell him. Even if you want to keep him, great, but at the same time, is it the best path for him or the best path for City to? Because let's be real, we have an academy to build to sell. I'm not thinking that City wants to keep all the players that they're building in the academy. I think they want to make profit out of those talented players. So
Hmm.
I I would say at the end of the year, if they're not trying to sell it, then or if nothing comes in as a sell option, then maybe they will sign him for the first team and give him a lot more minutes, and then we will see the real Mickey Joyner in the MLS and see what
Yep.
happens.
Yeah, or maybe, as you said, maybe he gets sold. I like Mackay. I think he's got a lot of talent, but yeah, I think you're right. And I love that you bring your agent perspective into this because you want to show, like you said, where he's getting those like consistent moments where he's winning. He's besting his competition, right? That's what makes him more marketable. So I love that you brought that perspective into the conversation. So thank you for that. Um, Thinking about it real quick, Oscar. I know we're nearing that hour and a half mark, so real quick, just a word on Chicago. We do play the Chicago Fire away this weekend. All time, we are 1-0-2 against Chicago Fire. Each team has scored 4 goals across those games. If you look at the series right now, back in 2023, the first time we played Chicago Fire, it was a 2-1 loss. Then we had a 1-0 loss. Both of those games were in Chicago. The most recent matchup was a 3-1 St. Louis victory. That was back on in May of last year. For those who don't remember, that was the Godzilla Tifo game. Was one of the I think that was I don't remember what group that was that did that. It might have been Punks, but either way, it was a great Tifo and a great result. So we haven't played them in a while. Chicago Fire in their last 5 games are 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. They last lost at home to San Diego. That was back in July on the 12th. Their last game, they played LAFC at home to a 2-2 draw over the weekend. So they're a team that's in solid form. They are a team who currently in the MLS standings, they are in the Eastern Conference despite playing near us in proximity, but they're in the Eastern Conference. They are 9th right now, so they are holding on to that last playoff spot right now on goal difference. They're tied with New York Red Bull, sitting on 36 points. Their overall record on the season, 10 wins, 6 draws, 9 losses. So Oscar, it's not going to be, as you kind of alluded to, it's not going to be just a walk in the park for City on the road this weekend.
No, no, and I mean you mentioned like we haven't had like the best luck with them, especially away. Like we had Open
Mm-hmm.
Cup games, and I think it was a back-to-back games where we played in Chicago. We lost both of them, so it's definitely not gonna be easy,
No.
and it's a good challenge for City to prove that whatever happened last Saturday was not just
Yep.
one night performance.
Yeah, and it's kind of going to be similar. We talked about going to the last game against Nashville. They had that dual threat of Mukhtar and Surridge. Well, it's kind of similar for Chicago with Philip Zinkernagel having 19 goal contributions on the season, and then Hugo Kuipers at 15 goal contributions. So they've each got more than 10 goals apiece. So it's a kind of a dual-headed threat. Have a few guys that are around 8 goals as well. So it's going to be a test for that defense. We'll see what they can do on the road. That game, I do believe it's another Saturday night game. I believe we're done with Sunday games, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah, so it is a Saturday game. Looks like it's 7:30 the normal time. So it is a 7:30 on Saturday night on the road at Chicago Fire. So
Yep.
Oscar, anything else? Did you have a hot take? I want to make sure if you have a hot take, you get a chance to get in, and I think we missed that last week.
I don't think I had a hot take this game. I do have a funny take. If you want to go back and rewatch the game, minute 68, I get hit in the head,
Okay.
and
Okay.
you can see it on the broadcast. So it's kind of I laugh at
All right.
myself when I saw it a couple times already. So
So,
it was
so what
hilarious.
you're saying is that we need to have a stream where we clip that and just make that the intro. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
So no, actually though, I actually have a funny question that will end on this. So 3 goals, I presume. Shirt. In fact, I won't presume because I've seen pictures of you. Shirt came
I
off.
blocked one.
But shirt came off after we got the 3rd goal. Is
It
that
did.
how
Yeah,
that
it did.
rolls?
Yeah, it
Okay.
did.
So my question. So then the question is this: how many wins in a row does City have to do if we're going to go like shirtless on the pod? Is that a thing? Should we even put that out there as an option for wins in a row?
Uh,
Not, I
I
don't
would.
think we.
I would.
Maybe we don't have to expose the world to it, but it's a question.
I mean, I don't know if we have to ask Mo, but if so, um, let's put it this way: we make it to playoff this year, I'll do it.
Oh God. Okay, hey, that's a high price, but okay. Now City's got to do it because we've got to be shirtless on the pod. That we're gonna if City scores 3 goals at the park, we go topless. We'll go topless here. You could do it at home. We won't. You can stay off camera. You can go at home too. But anyway, guys, it's a great night, great conversation. Oscar, it was a pleasure chatting with you, my buddy and my amigo in football, my friend. I love doing the show with you guys. We'll hopefully have Charlie and Mo back. Mo back probably for sure next week. Charlie as well, I'm hoping. But if there's nothing else, Oscar, we'll get out of here after what was a great 3-1 win on Saturday against Nashville, and looking forward to a tough test in
I would say
Chicago.
one thing. I normally don't
Oh,
promote, especially
yeah,
like
please.
our supporters and our group especially, but we did do something really nice last week. I know we gave out scholarships for 5 different kids that out of, I believe there were 31 who applied for scholarships this year, and we gave out 5 of them. So it was very nice. We had a couple of them that they actually came with us to the stadium and assisted the game and had great times with all the supporters, obviously with Santos um, connected and all that. But that was great because it's just influencing the youth to stay, obviously going to school, helping them out, and stay passionate about studies and not only the sports and anything like that. So I did wanted to give Santos a shout out because we're not just the supporters that we go there to scream and take their shirts off. We actually try to benefit a lot of the community. So
No, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up. That's fantastic. It's great to see the tie into the community and you guys as a group bringing that out. So great work to you. Great work to your friends in the Santos. And can't wait to see you all at the park. But in the meantime, Oscar will remind folks, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's how we get folks to grow, help to get more folks in the chat like you. Thank you to all the folks in the chat tonight. We've seen Ale, Kayla, we've seen Ryan Fraley, Aaron was in earlier, Chris Gebhardt, Romo, my buddy Romo, Matt in the chat as well.
Daniel,
I think. What's that?
Daniel, Aaron, yep,
Oh, yep. Everybody, shout out to you guys. I don't know if we're running on PD power, but we're running Oscar. I appreciate you as always. Again, a nice night talking football. We'll catch you next week. And for Oscar, I'm Jeremy. Let's go City.
let's go.